Kate and Billy, it's great to have you here at HELM Labs. Are you ready to learn about leader development?
Are we? Yeah!
Great!
I can't wait to go to the laboratory and see all the Bunsen burners and beakers.
Well, actually, this is our laboratory now.
What happened to all the cool chemistry stuff?
Well, Kate, do you remember when we gave you that experimental leadership potion?
I rule the world!
Thank God the State Department's intervention worked. And Billy, you remember when we gave you that concoction that accelerated your mental growth?
I can't believe you have to be 30 to run for the Senate. Someday I'll make it onto the floor and filibuster to my heart's content. So no steaming beakers, no chance of explosions or chemical reactions?
Not this time, Billy.
Aww.
But there's a reason. The church needs a different kind of leader. A leader who can help congregations be church in a new way and respond to God's call to serve in their local communities. We'll talk about the whole partnership a little bit later. But creating different kinds of leaders means changing the ways we think about doing leader development.
Really?
Yes. Let me tell you what HELM is doing to help create new leaders for the church.
Yeah!
So, what do you think it takes to be a leader?
Not crazy and tested potions, that's for sure.
You've got that right, Kate. But seriously, what does it take?
Well, leaders are born, not made, right?
We don't think so, Billy. We think people can learn to lead. For instance, the HELM Leadership Fellows program identifies college students with leadership potential and nurtures them as they develop those leadership skills by working with ministries on their campus or local congregations. They also work with a mentor and attend annual leadership conferences. In 2009, we studied creativity in ministry. In 2010, we focused on having open, trust-filled conversations about faith and diversity. The HELM Leadership Fellows is yielding a new crop of leaders for the church. Alumni of the program are participating at all levels of the church, serving in congregations, regions, and on national committees and commissions. More than a dozen graduates serve as pastors or are in ministry-related professions, and many other graduates are in socially oriented vocations such as teaching, social work, social justice, and environmental causes. What else do you need to lead?
A bunch of people who think just like you.
I think you've been watching too much cable news. Our research shows, and disciples know, that diversity makes for better leaders and for a more faithful church. The Disciples Leadership Institute is HELM's project to connect younger congregational leaders from both new and established congregations and across the divides of race, culture, and language. Centered around a week-long event, DLI is intentionally diverse. Half of the participants are from new congregations, half from established congregations, half are non-Anglo, and everybody is engaged in a week of sharing faith stories. After a 3-year hiatus, DLI is returning in the summer of 2012 thanks to a new partnership with Reconciliation Ministry. What other traits do leaders need?
Good leaders are 1 in a million. They're unique, the only ones who can do the jobs.
Actually, there are lots of good leaders out there, and they appreciate working with other people facing the same challenges. The Disciples Seminarians Conference gathers these leaders for a weekend of networking. Coordinated by HELM on behalf of all the general ministries of the church, the Seminarians Conference provides time for seminarians to create professional and personal relationships to support them through a career in ministry. Each general ministry explains its work and its future in a rapidly changing church. This time, participants also learned about the new Hope Partnership, about the search and call process for congregational ministry, and about personal and church finances.
I know something that makes good leaders, giving good speeches and making people follow your instructions.
Well, that can help, Kate, but sometimes being a good leader means listening. That's what Share 2010 was about. Share 2010 was the national student gathering of Disciples and United Church of Christ students. Last summer's 5-day Share event at TCU drew 50 participants, blending education about what works in campus ministry with worship and service. Open to all college students and student ministry professionals, the gathering was organized by HELM, by TCU's Office of Religious and Spiritual Life, the Student Ecumenical Partnership, and the UCC. Work is already underway on Share 2012.
I know something else leaders need: money.
Well, it does help to have money and other kinds of resources, and we actually help other leadership laboratories, sometimes called congregations, manage their resources to develop their own leaders. For more than a quarter century, HELM has managed scholarship funds and programs for disciples' congregations. More than 1,000 graduates of high schools in Madison County, Iowa, have received over $1 million in scholarships thanks to an endowment provided to First Christian Church of Winterset and managed by HELM. HELM also helps Hyde Park Christian Church in Austin, Texas give over $50,000 a year in scholarships to members of local churches.
So you're not the only ones developing new leaders?
Heavens, no! We work with students in partnership with faculty and staff at disciples-related theological institutions, colleges, and universities. There are also almost 150 campus ministries out there working with disciple students to strengthen their leadership skills. It's not an easy job with very few resources. We couldn't support these new leaders without the mentoring and care from campus ministers and college chaplains and congregational pastors and other lay leaders out there.
I can't wait to go to one of those leadership laboratories.
These are all great programs, Dr. Leader, but where are all the leaders going? After all, mainline Protestantism is shrinking at what some would call an alarming rate. Over the last 20 years, more than 2,000 disciple congregations experienced declines in membership and finances every single year. We really need these leaders?
Billy, we need these leaders more than ever. As I mentioned earlier, we need leaders who can guide congregations through a renewal process by helping them respond to God's call to serve their own communities, near and far. And that's what the Hope Partnership is about. The Hope Partnership wants to help increase the number of vital, mission-driven, and outward-focused disciples' congregations by identifying, training, coaching, and supporting pastoral leaders committed to that task. HELM is examining our existing programs for young leaders for opportunities to focus specifically on the task and challenge of congregational renewal. To learn more about the Hope Partnership, go to hopepartnership.info. Check it out, because the Hope Partnership is dynamite.
Dynamite? Is it explosive?
Explosive, Billy, in a good way.
Boy, that sure gives me a lot of hope, Dr. Leader.
Me too.
I'm glad to hear that. So, what do you think, kids? Do you want to be leaders in the church when you grow up?
Sure thing, Dr. Leader.
It's going to take all kinds of leaders to lead the church in the next few decades. We know we're going to have to try new ways of being church, and we're going to have to think creatively about how we're going to be part of God's purpose in the world. But here at HELM, and along with our partners, we're confident that we're going to get the job done.